Burnaby, known locally for two things: birthplace of Canadian crooner Michael Bublé and its epic number of high-rises. Burnaby is growing fast, soon to have some of Canada's tallest buildings. A hole one day is an 82-story skyscraper the next. But what was here before the hole? And is what's coming after actually benefiting these communities? Me, I can't say, but I do know some people who can. Burnaby, otherwise known as those towers over there if you're looking at it from Vancouver, has exploded in popularity in recent years. Which is why today, we've teamed up with realtor power couple Phil Moore and Doris G so that they can share their 30+ years of experience living and selling in Burnaby. From the iconic metro town to the newly developed amazing Brentwood, we'll be looking at everything Burnaby has to offer, including a little stop at one of Burnaby's most famous exports. So, strap in, because by the end of this tour, you'll be feeling good at the idea of calling Burnaby home. Doris, Phil, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to learn more about this whole area, but I'd love to hear a bit more about yourselves first.
Well, I'm a former Vancouver police officer and switched careers in 1989 after 8 years of policing, and now I've been selling real estate for 34 years.
What is the switch in your brain that goes from police officer to realtor?
I think there's a lot of similarities between policing and real estate. Really, in policing, you're negotiating and mediating, and you're doing the same. And it was a great transition.
What about you, Doris? Where did the inspiration for realty come in?
My inspiration about being a realtor was not to be a realtor. It started off, my parents used to buy and sell real estate and always lost money.
Oh.
So I didn't know why. So I wanted to learn about real estate. And the only real estate course back in the days was the salesman's course. I took the course and scored 96 out of 100. So once I started, which was 1988, I never went back.
Guys, talk to me a little bit about the people that are coming into Burnaby. Who are the buyers at the moment?
What we're seeing right now is, with so many condos being built, is we are becoming a draw for first-time buyers. So really, Burnaby becomes an affordable choice, and it's centrally located 20 minutes from downtown.
Talk to me a little bit about this mall. Metrotown for me is the mall. That's why I come out here, it's great shopping. You're telling me that it's going away?
Sure, what we built in 1986 is getting torn down now. We had streets before, we built the third largest mall in Canada. Now we're tearing it down bit by bit, and we're putting streets back in. And we're doing that because it's 38 acres, and it's an opportunity for density. It's an opportunity to find a hub for people to live. Don't necessarily need a car because you've got the SkyTrain.
Who are the people living in Metrotown now? Who's here?
We have a diversity of people of all cultures here.
And are those people who are coming in at the moment seeking very specific types of properties? Can they get that variety that is here, or do they need to go somewhere else within Burnaby? Is Metrotown
There's a lot of affordability in Burnaby. We have some older and we have some newer. If you go to older, we have more for your money for families that can actually afford a home.
We're actually seeing developers evolve, because what traditionally was 1 and 2 bedroom condos, we're now seeing studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and even 3 bedroom condos for family living.
So that change is coming into Metrotown, into Burnaby, to be a little bit more catering to diverse needs.
Exactly.
And it all began really with Expo 86, because they built the SkyTrain. And of course, this is one of the biggest stations, one of the busiest stations, Metrotown SkyTrain station. It opened the mall in 86, and it is 17 minutes to downtown Vancouver.
So really, you can come to Burnaby, you can come to Metrotown, you can be in one of the downtown cores, 70 minutes in the other downtown core.
You bet.
What's the differences that we can expect here as opposed to what we see in amazing Brentwood?
Brentwood is a mini Yale town as far as I'm concerned.
So we can kind of take Brentwood as an example of maybe the future, what's being done right, and Metrotown, is that kind of going in the same direction then, or are they trying to stamp their own identity a bit?
I think they're stamping their own identity altogether.
We're currently surrounded by high-rises or future high-rises, but one street over as we were coming in, I noticed there was like single-family houses. What can we expect for them with all this going on here?
So what we're seeing is gentle densification. So those single family houses are going to be 5-story apartment buildings. So we're going to go from the 80 stories to the 30 stories to the 5 stories. And we're still going to have single family neighborhoods in Burnaby.
We're like tiered down, essentially.
Correct.
It is so exhilarating to be in the heart of a community as it is growing up around you. I just can't wait to see what else Burnaby has to offer. When I first moved to Vancouver, I always thought Metrotown was kind of a bland name for a neighbourhood. Like something out of a boring sci-fi film from the 90s. But seeing a city actually be proactive and plan for their future is pretty cool. It's obvious, Burnaby is making moves to be the big city in BC. And with that kind of ambition, you better believe that they have some tricks up their sleeves to accommodate the massive influx of people they're expecting over the coming years. Folks, I'd love to hear a little bit more about where you met. Was it in the first time you were selling homes?
Totally not.
Okay.
Phil started off bothering me. When I was working at Realty World, I was a year and a half before him in the business. And one day he came up to me because I was working with another partner named Harry at the beginning, just a little bit. And he asked me, how many homes did he sell this month? And I said, I don't know. So we had these weekly meetings, monthly meetings, and Phil came out, thought he was number one for that month. And I didn't show up because I was still helping my parents at the restaurant a little bit. And when he went to the meeting, I was number one. And he was so upset about that.
So we really competed against each other, and as the saying goes, if you can't beat them,
You gotta join them.
Yeah.
Well, you see, you were trying to learn from the master, obviously, right?
For sure.
I really wanted to see the diverse range of properties you get by making the move to Burnaby. And it just so happened Phil and Doris had the perfect neighbourhood in store to show what life in the burbs could be if this whole hosting gig ever takes off. These houses are phenomenal. Guys, where are we and why does everything look like it's out of a Disneyland book?
Well, we're actually in a hidden gem in Burnaby. We're in an area that's really like Shaughnessy of Burnaby. What you would have in East Vancouver is 33-foot lots. Let's just triple that. Minimum lot size here is about 10,000 square feet, and the new houses are between 6,000 square feet up to 20,000 square feet.
What I love about the place is everything is seeming so individualistic. It's like everyone has their own personality here. Is this kind of typical of this area?
Yeah, I mean, this is where you come to get the larger lots, and you come to get the trees and scenery, and the larger homes.
I've heard a rumor that there's one person in particular that you've sold something to around here. Would you like?
He happens to sing better than me.
Surely better than me as well. Yeah.
But certainly, yes. I had a listing, and he needed the back 2 acres for his ice rink, and yes, we did sell something to Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé. He could be your neighbor if you find yourself here. With trees this big, it obviously has been around for a while. So what's the history of this place?
Well, there's 3 neighborhoods like this in Burnaby. There's Government Road, Deer Lake, and Buckingham Heights, and that's where you're going to find the larger lots and the established community. You're not going to find duplexes. You're not going to find suites. This is not about density here. Metrotown, and we're going to take you to Brentwood, that's about density. Here's about peace and quiet and a neighborhood that's established.
Doris, how often are these kind of properties coming up for sale in this neighborhood?
They do come up. But again, if there's a buyer that's looking for a big lot, they've got a little bit of competition, especially in this area where we don't have too many big lots in Burnaby, period.
So if you're looking for one, you might be kind of having to lay your stake in the ground and say, no, I'm willing to go a little bit harder for it.
Exactly.
With these kind of lots, are people buying them and tearing them down and making them their own? Is a lot more valuable than the actual house that's sitting on it right now?
Of course it is, because we have no land in Burnaby. So we need to, if they want a new home, they have to tear it down.
Okay, so that's the option they have to themselves. If they want it their own, tear it down. You see houses this size and you kind of wonder, are people just hiding inside, keeping themselves locked away, or is there actually a community spirit around Government Road?
So we're actually just a short walk from Burnaby Lake, and there's nature and there's trails, and it's actually a 10-kilometer loop around the lake. So you know what, it's a nice 2-hour walk in the morning if you're looking for that.
Nice.
But the schools are a big draw, the neighborhood feel, and just nature.
what surrounds Government Road?
Well, to the south is Burnaby Lake. To the north is the Burrard Inlet. To the east is Simon Fraser University. And to the west, we've got the amazing Brentwood.
I think it's time we learn more about this amazing Brentwood that I've been hearing so much about today.
Well, let's take you there.
Sounds great. I heard that the food court is absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing.
I
Oh my
can't-
God.
Your tagline is make a world of difference. How do you both embody that in selling real estate?
With all the people I work with, I love all my clients. I care about them and I want to make sure that they are happy at the end.
So it's not just the surface
It's
level.
not just the service. I love my clients. All my clientele are amazing and I love them.
So even though we're shining our shoes every morning, Phil, there's something deeper there that you guys want to really tap into and make sure people...
Well, it certainly is. I mean, the clients become our friends, and it's really being of service and giving them honest advice. We're not here for the short term. We've been around for 34 years, and we're going to be around much longer.
Government Road may be more aspirational housing for me at the moment. But with Metrotown still under construction, I wanted to see what Burnaby had to offer for those of us interested in making the move here today. So I knew that I had to take a trip to the latest addition to Burnaby's skyline and see if I can get a different perspective on what life in the burbs can offer. Doris, this is the amazing Brentwood that you love so much.
It's just so wonderful to see all the different changes that we have coming to Burnaby.
And this crucial SkyTrain station.
We're in such a central location that we couldn't be in a better place.
Really opening you up to a really diverse range of people who we find in this area.
We have from first-time home buyers to investors. We have buyers that are downsizing, that are actually staying in Burnaby without moving to the interior or the island, just because it's so beautiful.
That's amazing. This is the whole gentle densification that you were talking about earlier, Phil, right?
Yeah, so we're certainly, at the end, we're surrounded by residential homes. And a lot of those people will be moving out of their homes and moving into the towers. And a lot of our first-time buyers will need more space. So they'll be selling their units and moving into the homes.
What makes this place unique? Why is this different than what we saw in Metrotown?
Metrotown is kind of like a whole bunch of different developers, and this is one developer. This is a master plan, and they've been able to attract retailers that are normally seen in downtown cities here in Burnaby. So that, coupled with the restaurants that we have, that's really what's been the attraction here.
Doris, where do you see the future of Brentwood going yourself?
Local people that are living downtown in Vancouver, that doesn't need to be in Vancouver now, wants to come to a community. And this is the mini Yale Town in Burnaby.
This is the Yale Town of
This is the
Burnaby.
Yale Town of Burnaby.
That is so cool.
Come on over here, Steve. I want to show you Tower 5 and Tower 6 of the amazing Brentwood.
So these are the towers that are being built right out there.
Correct, and they're going to be ready in 5 years.
Doris, why would an investor or a first-time home buyer want to move here as opposed to actually going to the real Yale Town in downtown Vancouver?
Have you not walked through Brentwood already? It's so beautiful. You feel like you're on holidays. All the eateries, the retail stores, and of course, a fraction of price compared to downtown.
And would you be getting more square footage for this kind of stuff?
Of course you would be.
Anything is more square footage than downtown.
Than downtown, right? Yes. Of course, everything is not big these days, but compared to downtown, prices, of course, much more affordable, much more central.
I live in a tiny shoebox in Vancouver, so I am very excited to see the inside of one of these units.
You know what, Stephen? Let us show you. Come on this way.
This is so clean and simple. I love it. Is this kind of a typical type of thing that we can expect from here?
This is kind of typical. You've got engineered hardwood floors. You've got Caesar stone or marble counters. You've got the high ceilings. You've got air conditioning. You've got home automation. Those are kind of the typical things that buyers are looking for these days.
What are some of the amenities that these developers are putting into these new builds?
They're putting pet runs and pet washing stations, which is amazing. They are putting wonderful state-of-the-art exercise rooms, common rooms, guest suites.
So you have all that at your fingertips and everyone can kind of expect something similar. This isn't some unique thing that's just there for show.
Stephen, welcome to Burnaby. Yes, you can expect it.
All beautiful, and it's nice to know that you have that nice polish in the end, but what about the bones of it? Well, are you protected buying something like this?
We've learned it from the 80s and 90s as the government stepped in. It's a mandatory warranty, 2, 5, 10-year warranty. It's licensed builders. We also learned that our climate doesn't accompany California style. All of these are rain screen technology, and so the consumer's getting peace of mind, backed by a government warranty.
That is so reassuring to hear. Folks, we started our whole journey today in a hole, and I would love to try and take us to some new heights. I got one last surprise for you if you're willing to go with me.
Well, let's do it.
Do it.
Today's tour was a lesson in humility. For so long, I've avoided ever thinking of living in the burbs, fearful about giving up the access and amenities downtown Vancouver has to offer. But in this particular case, I am happy to be proven wrong. Phil and Doris took me from a pit in the lowest point of Burnaby and showed me a city that's focused on master planned communities and gentle densification. Sure, some people will tell you that the city is still under construction, but in my opinion, living in Burnaby means you get to have your cake and eat it too. Moving here means investing in your future, a neighbourhood that is only going to grow. And with communities like the amazing Brentwood already established, it means you don't have to sacrifice big city living while you wait. I'm glad that I finally got a chance to stand at the top of the towers that I've been staring at for so long, because the view up here made me realise Burnaby has always been great. I just hadn't met it yet.